Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well out there. Back for some more Flying Nun goodness. It's taken me a while, but I finally had some time to put together something. Hopefully you'll enjoy it, hopefully you'll learn a lot. But first off, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone that watched the previous ones and commented and said how much they've learned from them, which makes me feel fantastic. And yeah, really happy. And since that last video, I've actually managed to acquire this here, which is absolutely amazing to have. I walked into a record store in Wellington. I was up on the wall there and I grabbed it straight away. Super happy to have this. This is a second press. I'll show you a bit of a close-up of the clean single tally-ho. Amazing piece to have in the collection. Absolutely a crown jewel. Can't believe I have it. So there we go. Amazing. And also announced in March next year, I'm going over to Wellington to see the Verlaines and the Chills play a sort of tribute to the Dunedin double EP. So that they'll be playing, I imagine they'll be playing their sides in its entirety plus other tracks and stuff like that. And maybe even special guests with a bit of luck. So I'm so excited to go over there and be part of that experience and to acknowledge that amazing album I've talked about in my previous videos. So I can't wait. That's middle of March next year, so that's something I just can't wait to get to. Okay, so the reason I'm here, I want to talk about the legendary Chris Knox. I want to talk about the bands he was in and the people he influenced and in the way that he was so important to New Zealand alternative music. He influenced bands time and time again, different ways, different styles. Without him, there wouldn't be a Flying Nun label, a Flying Nun sound, a jangle sound. He's just an amazing person, and hopefully this video does tribute to Chris Knox and the label. So we'll start at the beginning, which is a good place to start. Before the Flying Nun label even started, punk music was taking hold in Dunedin and in New Zealand, and Chris Knox formed a band in 1977 known as The Enemy. Now we don't have any records by The Enemy. There's one bootleg that's going around, so there's not really any recorded material that you can pick up. But in terms of what they did and the mantra they instilled into the community was absolutely essential. They were only around for 2 years, but they played a lot of, I think there's some clips on YouTube that I'll try and integrate into this video. But just the whole original music and covers of crap, just the idea of punks, local people in New Zealand seeing punk music through The Enemy was such a big thing, and it really kickstarted the whole punk idea and the do-it-yourself thing. You know, that was the beginning of the whole do-it-yourself movement in New Zealand, was through The Enemy. So even before the Flying Nun label, Chris Knox managed to influence a whole bunch of musicians and people in the community and start it from the very beginning. Along with Chris Knox, we also had Alec Bathgate in the band, who he went on to form a great partnership with, and right through his career, Chris has worked with Alec Bathgate, and together they've become such an iconic partnership and team. And you'll see that as I go through a few records later on, the amount of music they created together and how they played off each other and stuff like that. So that partnership really was a central part of The Enemy, and just the way they developed their style was sort of like punk, but taking elements of catchier pop elements mixed with Iggy Pop and Velvet Underground. And yeah, I mean, just from what I've heard snippets online, and I can really understand how they set off that punk scene in New Zealand, and that was ground zero really. Before the label even began to take hold. And yeah, just what a great way to start your career, kickstarting alternative music in New Zealand really. We are right, the neon sun. So at the end of 1978, the Enemy broke up, and out of the ashes of that became Toy Love, which sort of took the punk idea a bit further, but ended up having their own catchy pop, slightly whimsical style, and they toured heavily, further influencing a lot of musicians, and they even went over to Australia and recorded an album, which they now basically disown. They said it was terrible because the studio tried to take out the punk sound and make it smooth and polished, and they hated that, and that really instilled the punk ethos back into New Zealand, to say, don't go to Australia, make it yourself, do it at home, don't go to the big labels. And that was Chris's mentality, and he kept with that all through his career up until now. So this is a compilation that came out, I want to say about 4 years ago, on Flying Nun / Real Groovy. This is a record that I showed in my last video right at the end. Stunning artwork here. This is a compilation covering most of Toy Love's output. Lots of live cuts and studio recordings, and yeah, brilliant. The track to check out from Toy Love would be Rebel, which is a sort of tongue-in-cheek tribute to the ridiculousness of punk people, and I don't know, it's great. It's really brilliant. Swimming Pool, Sheep. There's some, yeah, just if you ever see this around, please check it out. There's Chris in the middle there. So this is when the band really started to get traction, and Chris Knox started to get noticed, and people paid attention to what he was doing. A lot of bands that really got popular on the Flying Nun label later on, like Hamish Kilgore and Shane Carter, often say that, you know, seeing Toy Love and seeing the Enemy was an awakening for them. That's what really got them going, and that's, you know, drove them to create the music they ended up creating. Interestingly, Chris Knox, when he was in the Enemy, when he was listening to early Clean recordings, was saying that's how they got the name. He named them the Clean because the guitar sounds so clean compared to the punk energy of Toy Love and the Enemy, really. After Toy Love disbanded, the Flying Nun label was starting to get a bit of traction, and Chris was involved right from the get-go. He often created the artwork for the bands or sketches, or he helped record a lot of the famous albums. Buddha Buddha EP, he was there. He was really behind the bands, really driving them. A lot of people found him quite annoying because he was always in the face, telling them they could do better. Almost aggressive in a way, pushing people on. He was the person that ran around and made sure everyone was doing the best that they could, got everything moving. Without Chris Knox, there wouldn't have been a Flying Nun label, or at least one that would be as successful as it was, or as brilliant as it was. Just his passion and his vision for the label was so far ahead of everyone else at the time, and you know, it was all in here, and it all worked amazingly. So Chris and Alec Bathgate, who was in Toy Love, formed Dwarfs, and I've got a few of their LPs here to show. I don't have the first EP, which is called 3 Songs, but I do have the second one, which came out in 1982, with a brilliant name, Lewis Likes His Daily Dip. This came out in 1982 by Tall Dwarfs. Brilliant artwork. So again, these guys sort of did away with the punk sound and went completely lo-fi, Casio tone keyboards, handmade instruments. A lot of people say that he was the pioneer again for lo-fi music in New Zealand, and even over the world. A lot of artists, lo-fi artists, often cite Chris Knox as an influence of that lo-fi sound. So this came out in 1982. Really weird, really cool, fun, put together, so strange one-off sounds that you would never get Look at that label. The track on here called Clover is fantastic. There you go. Lewis likes his daily dip. Flying Nun 1982. Then we move on. There's the next release that came out, which is called Can Music. Brilliant artwork. I'm not sure if that's a sort of reference to Andy Warhol and the Velvet Underground with a soup can. I say that because if you look at the label here, it's got the, you sort of see the Campbell soup label. Again, more weird, brilliant, and they sound really good. Like, they're so homemade, but they sound fantastic. And often with Chris Knox's releases, you will find something really bizarre inside. This one comes with this really cool poster, all hand drawn. Has a really punk ethic going on here. What the critics have to say about Tall Dwarfs. This is really fun to read while you're listening to music, to this music in particular. So there you go, Can Music, Tall Dwarfs, brilliant. I want to say 1983. Yes, 1983. Recorded in Auckland, May 1983. This is going to be one of my favourite covers and favourite albums by Tall Dwarfs. Slug Bucket Hairy Breath Monster. So this is a weird one because there's actually not a record. It's not the sleeve is actually two pieces of paper. So the absolute killer track on here is on side 2. And it's called Crush. I've checked that track out. It's like a Velvet Underground track. I hope these come out okay, and I hope the camera's focusing on them. 1984, Flying Nun. Check out Crush. Amazing. It's probably not a track that's representative of Tall Dwarfs' sound, but it's definitely a gateway track to check out. Highly recommend it. Great guitar sound. This came out, I think, the same year, or maybe the year after, 85. Throw a Sickie by Tall Dwarfs. Again, similar sort of artwork as the last one. Now this one comes with this really cool sort of like wheel with the lyrics and stuff like that on it, which is really cool. I love these labels, they're just so one of a kind. There you go, look at that. Brilliant. So by this point, I'm not sure if I mentioned, Tall Dwarfs were based out of Auckland rather than Dunedin. They moved up there. Absolutely one record I would love to get, it's almost top of my list by Tall Dwarfs, would be That's a Long and Short of It, which has the amazing opening track, Nothing's Going to Happen. I would also say that's probably a great track to check out if you want to sort of get an idea of the Tall Dwarf sound. Highly recommended. So yeah, that one, and I would also like to get Dogma, which is the next release after this one, which I think is 86. Amazing. Also, if you're looking to get something by them, Weevil just got reissued about last month, so you can pick that up from the Flying Nun website, which I also highly recommend. I'll be doing that. I haven't picked it up yet, but I will be. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. In 1989, Chris Knox decided to release his first full-length solo album, which is called Seizure. It was known that Chris often suffered from seizures throughout his life. He could often get through them after a bit of pain, and he would take medication for it. So he named it Seizure. As you see, there's Chris there. The artwork sort of gives you an idea of the pain he felt with these seizures. There's a track on here called Not Given Lightly, which you will probably know or may have heard. It got voted their 13th best ever New Zealand song. Extremely catchy, beautiful pop song. the label. Chris Knox, Seizure. He went on to release a handful of solo stuff throughout the 90s and into the 2000s, but yeah, this is the first one. I think this is the first full length from 1989. Yes, there we go, February 1989. So again, taking the weird lo-fi sounds with pop sensibility. Amazing, yeah, very cool. Throughout the 90s, Chris Knox played a lot around New Zealand. He used to play the Bar Bodega every year in Wellington. He played a lot in Australia. I remember seeing a video clip of him on Australian TV playing Not Given Lightly. He also went and toured around, I think it was 1995, did a big tour of the US. Influenced the Mountain Goats, who I'm a big fan of. So he was constantly touring, constantly working, and unfortunately in 2009 he did suffer a really serious stroke. So yeah, he was taken to hospital, and of course this was a big shock to New Zealand and the community, and lots of artists gathered round and came up with a compilation CD called Strokes Songs for Chris Knox, which is international artists and local artists covering tracks, Chris Knox tracks. You've got people like Jay Reatard, Jeff Mangum from Neutral Milk Hotel, Yola Tango were on there, Bill Callahan, plus the Bats, the Chills were on there. Yeah, a lot of people who were influenced by Chris wanted to create this album to show tribute to him, and the proceeds went to raising money to help with his rehabilitation. As a result, now Chris has trouble speaking and can only say a certain few words. He can understand and process things, so interviews with him are very limited, with usually yes or no or maybe or a smile or something like that. So he did appear and play in 2005 with the Auckland band Rackets, but he's still doing well. Still, I think he recently just put on an art show in New Zealand. Such an incredible person. Again, influenced New Zealand music over and over and over, and just what a legend, really. Amazing guy. I know Chris, who has a channel for Waiheke Records, managed to meet Chris Knox and have a few beers with him, which I think he told me the story of it, and it sounded like such a fun time. Yeah, amazing. I just smile when I think, like, this man, it's amazing the vision he had to pull this together and create this amazing music, and I'm so thankful for him that I can enjoy this music too. So that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you all for sticking around, and hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully I've explained a bit more about Chris Knox and why he's so important to all these bands that I've been talking about, and what influence he's had. Yeah, again, thank you for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you all soon. Cheers.
Can't admit it, you've never heard of me, have you? That's all right. Okay. Hello, my friend. It's morning, time to wake now. Your body and mind entwined, we'll have to break now. But I want your flesh, your warmth to stay beside me. Oh, how I wish you could be deep inside me. Show me your eyes, your love most tender feeling. And I'll give you my hand, be truthful and revealing. Cause it's you that I love, and it's true that I love, and it's love not given lightly. I knew this was love, and it's true that I love, and it's more than what it might be. When we're alone, I cannot. Can you believe it? Anybody else got another guitar? Can I have the mate on, maybe? Oh, isn't it marvelous? Isn't it marvelous? Stand
tuning though, mate. You'll
It's
have
not a
to...
standard tuning. Have you got
No,
one
I've got the
standard tuning?
awful duty of informing you it's not in standard tuning.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Live
this is a
television, what are we going to
disaster.
do? Crikey!
What the hell are we going to do?
Acapella!
Okay, yeah, acapella.
Acapella.
When we're alone, I cannot always face you. Baby, my wounds won't let these arms embrace you. 'Cause it's you that I love, and it's true that I love, and it's love not given rightly. And I knew this was love, and it's you that I love, and it's more than what it might be. Every word I sing's for you, yeah, all of you, Australia, every single one of you. This is a love song to John and Leisha's mother. This isn't easy, I may not write another, but it's you that I love, and it's you that I love, and it's love not given lightly. And I knew this was love, and it's you that I love, and it's more than what it might be. And every word I say is to you,